All right, let's see, one more lesson for you. And this is basically a little bit about how to troubleshoot and how to view your data. All right. So let's take a look at running our program when we have some sort of an error in it. All right. So I got this guy running, and I've introduced a subtle bug into our program so that when I do an insertion, I come in here and I say, you know, the movie is going to be movie 7, and the quote is going to be quote 7. And then I execute, all right, and it says here an error occurred. See the response for details. And if I look here, it's actually giving me something that doesn't seem to be that helpful, right? So service unavailable, like internal service error. You know, a lot of errors you can catch right when you're doing localhost testing. So let's go back here, and I see that you know, if I'm making an error here, okay, on localhost, in Eclipse, then I should just get the errors right here in the console, right? So it's coming back and it's saying that I have an attribute error. Type object movie quote has no attribute parent key, right? And so I look, look here, and we'll see if it actually gives me a line here. So sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. So here we go. So if I look in my code here, movie quotes API line 25, right? And I come in. And sure enough, this is an error that I actually had really made in coding at one point. I had mistakenly called this parent key instead of just parent, right? But it caught that right, and that was something that was easy to find, right? Now, does it fix it? Let's go back here, go back in, refresh, try to do an insertion again here, and we'll try that same, you know, quote 7. I'm not worried about spelling right now. I'll probably end up deleting it anyway. Movie 7, and now it works fine, right? So the question is, you know, what if that had sort of survived up until you know, until I deployed it, right? So let's take a look here. So here's my deployed version. Let's actually go into the Explorer. Okay, so the same thing. I'll get here movie quotes API. And you know, I try to do the same thing, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and add in a quote, and then a movie. So and I click that. So I'm gonna get the same kind of error here, all right? But where would I go, right? It's deployed. I don't have a, you know, it's no longer sort of connected with Eclipse, right? I'm running it locally. So I did want to show you where to go. So what we'll do is go back to the same place so that you created the project again. So console.developers.google.com, and we'll go in here, find your project, and then the errors are going to show up, or the log I should say, is going to be under compute, app engine, and then logs. And if we click this guy, all right, give it a second to load up here. It should give us all of our logs from the second that we've created this project. Now it's coming back here with clearly an error here. And if I click on this guy, then it comes back and it says unexpected error from proto-RPC method, right? And movie quote has no attribute parent key. Hey, that's the same error that I was getting before. And in fact, will even tell us the same thing if we look in here. It should say the line, you know, the line where the error occurred, right? So never fear, you can actually still do some troubleshooting and debugging even once it's deployed. Do be careful when you do this. So I made a mistake in a previous video, and I had a really hard time you know, figuring this one out. This is one where I wouldn't even launch the API Explorer, and it was a pretty subtle bug here. But for hostname, I had put in an extra HTTP, right? And it turns out that I did not want that at all. That one was a harder one to find, and I actually basically just had to go back and look at what I had done, kind of compared it to what I had done in the past, and try to root it out that way. I guess while we're talking about troubleshooting and everything, I wanted to go through just a few more places of how to test and where to find things. You should already know at this point that you know, we have a whole bunch of resources available to us, right? So actually, let's pull this up here. So you know, if sort of localhost versus deployed. So localhost, if you just want to test using the web app, you know, it's just localhost and then your port. If you want to use the API Explorer, just tag on the underscore API Explorer. One thing we haven't looked at here is what's called the data store viewer, right? And this is kind of interesting. So localhost, so if you're running it from Eclipse, then you can go to localhost port 8000, and that's called the admin port. And then there's here something called the data store viewer. This is kind of nice if you want to look at everything that's in your data store, and maybe because you changed versions. So I've actually seen before that I've had to go all the way to the data store viewer to see some changes. Actually, when I had updated the model object, the web app just wasn't showing everything that was still there in the data store. So let's take a peek at that. So I'm going to go, pop this guy up again, and in my tab, I will go to localhost, like I said, 8000, and if I just go from there, I see that I have a data store viewer, and if I click on this, these are all the things that are in my data store, so I can see, I can see my entity key, IDs as well, last test stage time, movie and quotes. If you wanted to delete a whole bunch of things all at once, just to kind of clear things out, hey, I used a bunch of these things. I'm kind of all done with these now, so all these quote 1, 2, 3, 4 doesn't really much interest me anymore. I should be able to go and go ahead and delete it. And do you want to delete it? Are you sure? Yeah, absolutely. Okay, we'll get rid of them. So we can do that. And of course, if I go back to localhost 8080, right, then all those extra ones are gone. All right. So I can muck around with that directly. Again, that's using the admin port here. So localhost 8000. If you're using App Engine, so again, the port numbers are going to be a little bit different, both for running it and your admin port, right? So again, it comes down to the fact that you may have a multitude of different projects that you've created, right? What else? So what if we wanted to see the data store viewer on a deployed app, right? So that's, I guess, the last thing that I want to show you here. So let's go back to our console.developers.google.com into our project, and one more place here. So I already looked at the logs, but if we go down further, remember we looked at the indices before to see whether they were built yet. But if we go here to query, right, then we can go up and we can see everything that's there, right? And the same kind of information that we saw on localhost, we can see for our deployed version, and we could click one of them and we could delete it and so on, right? So that's it. Hopefully that gives you some help as you're debugging. Like I say, most of the mistakes that are made are simple kind of typos, and those, usually the logs will help you out. But if you have issues beyond that, don't hesitate to let us know, right? Thanks a lot. Have a wonderful day, and I hope you enjoy the lab, right? Come back to hear about the lab in the next lesson. All right, goodbye.